Now, Malcolm Turnbull is waking up to some good news this morning. He is in the lead as preferred Prime Minister in the latest Newspoll at 39% to Bill Shorten's 33%. The Fairfax Ipsos poll also found 71% of people want him to lead the coalition to the next election, even if they think he's doing a bad job.
Yeah, let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton from 9honey.com.au and comedian Mikey Robin. Because, Shell, we don't want Prime Minister 7 or 8 or 9 before the next election. This is a no-brainer poll.
Absolutely.
Just stick with the one person now. We never want to go through the last 5 again.
No, and honestly, everyone is sick of it, and we're not that MTV generation that just want change all the time. We actually want to stick with someone. And you know what? I think that Malcolm Turnbull has proven that when you elect a party, you elect a party. So the person who's leading it is not actually making a massive difference.
That's true.
So I think he has been a huge example of that. So you know what? Just stick with him because it's the party.
What do you think, Mikey? Were you surprised by those results?
No, not really. I mean, like, you know, when you have Italian politicians looking at Australia and going, what are you guys up to? I mean, seriously. This is a long tradition in Australian politics. I was thinking on the way out today, going back to even McMahon. You know,
he was a great politician.
A great politician. Yeah. Every politician that has overturned, whilst in government, has overturned the second PM, has always then gone on to just barely win the next election, or will be rolled within a year of winning that election. It's amazing. We actually like political stability in this country, and you're right.
Do we?
Yeah.
We don't seem to be. Yeah.
That's not really our choice, though. I mean, we like political stability, but the parties have decided that they don't, and that's not the Australian public's choice.
No, exactly. It's almost like, you go to the shop, you buy Omo, you don't expect it to turn into another brand halfway through the washing cycle.
Yeah, no, that's true. But okay, Dave, if that's the case, then why would the politicians continue to do this?
It's all power play.
Party
and it's sort of the right-wing factions want one thing and the left-wing factions
let's do
want another.
exactly the opposite of what the people want.
Exactly, right? But what about listen to the people? Crazy
It's
idea.
called democracy. What? Never heard of it.
Also making news this morning, it is the season to be stressed.
It is.
According to a new national survey, 71% of Australians find Christmas stressful. It's the same 71% of people who don't want that change.
That's a good point.
Apparently, we're most worried about keeping our finances in check, with almost half of all Australians saying they worry about how much money they're going to spend on gifts, catering and other seasonal expenses. Mikey, the ungiftables are also the stress factor,
Don't, please. I love my wife. I adore, if you're watching, darling, I adore you. We've been together for 20 years, over 20 years. I've run out of gifts.
You've run out of presents.
I've run out of gifts.
She's ungiftable.
And last year, I said, what do you want for Christmas, darling? And she looked at me and went, well, you should know.
That's hard.
Yeah, so I bought her a skateboard.
You're a weirdo.
Funny way to hand in your divorce papers.
And what did you get for Christmas? A divorce.
In all seriousness, what we did to take the stress out of Christmas for each other a couple of years ago, we said, look, we gave each other a budget and was like, you go to the deli and get sweet things, I'll go to the deli to get savoury things, we'll wrap them up and give them to each other on Christmas Day.
And then you eat them on the day.
Well, yeah. Or, some olive oil, some nice vinegar,
Stuff that you want.
Condiments.
Some vinegar. There's nothing says romance like vinegar. Shelley,
You are so down on my marriage.
I love your marriage. I just want you to get us something nice. Shelley, apparently Aussies are going to self-medicate with wine. Wine throughout the Christmas stress. Have another wine.
Red wine or white wine?
Or maybe a rosé wine.
Or rosé.
I think it's red wine
seasonal.
because red is for Christmas, like red and green. Look, I can understand this, but at the same time, I actually love Christmas and I like my family, so I actually don't have all of this stress, but I'm having a small Christmas this year.
You love your family, but you don't live with them.
That's right. I live in another state.
There you go.
So it's easy to love them. I don't see them that often. But I can understand some people are self-medicating because you've got the rude aunts or grandma who says, you put on a few pounds this year. Thanks, Grandma. Thanks for bringing that up. I can understand that sort of thing, but I think that you actually need to take a chill pill and remember it's one day and just put all of that aside and enjoy it.
And drink.
And also, too, When did drinking too much start something being called self-medicating? It's like Uncle Doug self-medicates. Uncle Doug's a pisshead.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas. OK, Shorten, stay with us. When we come back, Mariah Carey continues to flaunt that huge $10 million diamond ring from her billionaire ex, James Packer. But should she give it back? I want to know what you think. Now, her engagement to James Packer was called off over a year ago, but Mariah Carey is still wearing the $10 million diamond ring he gave her almost everywhere. The 47-year-old pop princess has been spotted out and about sporting the 30-carat rock on her right hand, everywhere from the red carpet to the stage, and while she's even out and about with her new boyfriend.
Because why not? It's hers now. Let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton and Mikey Robbins. Shelley, is it okay to keep wearing the engagement ring? First of all, should you keep it after a breakup?
Okay.
Second of all, can you wear it again?
Here's the deal. I think that if he bought the ring for you and they were not together for very long, I think there's like a time frame, you've got to hand it back. My situation was, it was my grandfather's diamond that we used in my engagement ring for my first wedding, and I had it made into an earring.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, nice.
That one, cubic zirconia, but couldn't afford to match it. But I think if you refashion it into
Not just
another
put
piece,
another finger.
but don't just put another finger. And I think the middle finger is a little bit of a
Middle
check
finger,
this out,
yeah.
middle
It's a middle
finger
finger to
to
love.
James, like
Yeah.
a bit weird. But $10 million.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Well, I'm no fancy city lawyer, but I watch a lot of Judge Judy. and what I got from Judge Judy is if you give the ring, it is part of a contract for a marriage that is going to happen.
I agree.
If the marriage doesn't happen, the ring should be given back to the original purchaser, which is either the male or the female.
But what about the fact that it is a gift and
No,
you have given it freely?
Therefore, it is tax-free.
It
My accounting
doesn't count
expertise.
as
donation.
income.
No, it is a gift, but it is also bound in a contract of a future event. If the future event doesn't happen, then the original purchaser of the ring should get the ring back.
Is it?
I would see it as a love
Really?
donation. It's a love donation. Tax avoided, love donation.
I don't like that term.
Love donation.
Oh, babe,
no.
Oh, actually, no. David Campbell of the love donations.
It's so easy to sit there and say that, but if you gave a girl a $10 million ring and she didn't give it back, David, we would still be hearing about it day in, day out. He
I'll be
would
like,
never
are we
let
doing this
up.
topic again?
Wow, that's a lot of cabaret albums.
Let's move on because the 2017 word of the year has been announced and it's causing a bit of confusion because a lot of us haven't heard of it before.
Nope.
The word is Kwaussie, not Quasi, but Kwaussie. A person of dual citizen of Australia and New Zealand, a New Zealander living in Australia, and a person of Australian and New Zealand descent.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can see it on the screen. So basically what we're saying is Barnaby Joyce is a Kwaussie.
Yes.
Richard Wilkins is a Kwaussie. Jenny Morris, Neil Finn, Russell Crowe.
Sam Neill.
I was also saying, with Russell, it's really simple. When Russell acts, he's an Aussie. When he puts out an album, he's a Kiwi. That's the last South
pick
function I
between
get invited to.
Yay, well done.
Shelley, we do love to claim famous Kiwis as our own.
Yeah,
Don't we? Now we've given them a name.
But I just have never heard this term before, so I don't
Never.
understand how it can be word of the year if no one has
That's
heard of
what I
it.
thought. Don't you have to
Like,
hear about it?
I think we have to choose terms that we use all the time, or
Like?
it becomes. Even if we say, I was thinking
Love
about
donation.
Love donation.
Love donation.
turning May 8 into mate
Yeah.
for Australia Day. Like, I think something like that would make more sense because we've all heard of saying make it May 8, mate for Australia Day.
May
That
the
to me-
4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. So I just kind of think they're just
Kwaussie.
grasping at straws.
I reckon they've made it up so they can get a bit
Well,
of publicity.
it's quite frankly, it sounds like how you feel after you've eaten a meat pie and a kiwi fruit. I'm a bit quasi.
Yeah.
Let us know if you've heard of this word. Go to Facebook and Twitter because we are dumbfounded. Great to have you both on.
Cheers.
You can
Thank
keep the
you,
rings.
guys. Still to come, make some quick cash from the company.